last 5 minutes. Alright, thanks, Terry. Yeah. Alright. What the heck is this? No, just do it over there. Just do it. We'll take it. Okay. Yeah, no, we'll just do it live. We'll just do it live. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. All right, let's bring it out. How's everybody doing? All right. Welcome to Geezy Truth News. Thank you very much, everybody. How's everybody doing, man? Whew, yeah, we got a lot to talk about. It's a lot of stuff's going on over here, so let's go. It is a very special day, a very special moment. It's October 13th, 2017. And here's the thing about all that is it is Friday the 13th, which means a lot. You know, it goes back down to the Templar days of the, you know, the Dark Ages, and it's the Knights of the Templar, you know, went around and slaughtered everybody on this day. You know, that's what they say on the Friday the 13th. So that's got a lot of connotation to it, and you know, we'll just get right to all the news. Hope everybody's doing good. Hopefully everybody's preparing. You know, just be ready and enjoy life. Do whatever you want to do, but just, you know, we got to all do our part here, you know. So, you know, there's a lot of things that happened since the last time we aired on the show here. Oh, and by the way, looks like my technical engineers over here are telling me, yeah, there may be some technical difficulties on the show today. The phone lines are open, but all right, thank you very much, my technical engineers, and my producer. You know, thank you everybody for setting all this up. You know, I'm grateful for everybody. And so, yeah. Well, anyway, so lots of stuff to be said about, you know, the Las Vegas shooting, obviously, and all the rest of the events that have unfolded here. And so, you know, it's been a few days. It's been almost a week and a half since it's happened, and looks like we still don't know too much about what happened. And even Tucker Carlson over there on Fox News, I was looking over him and seeing that you know, they're even the fake stream media is even saying that they don't know. So I don't know what's going on. People are waking up, and you know, a lot of people are trying to figure out whether this is a false flag or not, which is obviously it is. Now whether now what happened is a whole different story. We need to find out what happened, you know. And so from what we know, it seems like it, and hopefully, yeah, it should be working. Everything should be working, but you know, you just never know these days. You know, they're trying to set me on private every time we all try to go live over here. So, but yeah, anyway, yeah, this false flag is, you know, obviously it's all about gun control. It's obviously, if anybody's done their fair share of research, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense here. I mean, they're saying that this one grandpa guy did all of this. And it's just, you know, how many times do you have, it's like the boy cried wolf. I mean, how many times you got to be lied to until you figure something out, until you see what's up. So, you know, like I said, I'm pretty sure everybody knows what's the hippity hap. It's I wanted to air this last Friday, but I was out of town and I couldn't make it to the studio. But so we don't know. We don't know what's going on. You know, we look over here and where's the information? Where's the evidence? I mean, it's a lot of people are pointing out that this is just like another Sandy Hook and another Boston bombing. You know, there's a lot of gun control talk going on, and there's a lot of sneezy going on. And there's a lot of interesting aspects that just all this stuff. The most recent thing is security guard from Las Vegas vanished, nowhere to be found. Looks like Fox starting to call out the Vegas investigation inconsistencies. So, okay, so, you know, the fake stream media, maybe they're trying to, you know, come up and see what the Billy Bob is all about. Mandalay Bay owner, what's being expressed by police may not be accurate. So, I mean, this is just all obvious stuff. You know, you read all this stuff and, you know, it just comes out. It smelled fishy. Look, it smelled fishy from the very beginning. And anybody who's in the where now is aware of that. And if there were victims, then, you know, that's what they do. They take victims. That's not new to their plan. They take 9/11. They took over 2,000 people with them, no problem. That was a piece of cake to them. And so, whatever's going on over here, it ain't looking too shabby. Here, I'll try to put up some websites here on the side. And so, pretty much the biggest thing with this LV thing is that there's a few key points here. Obviously, it's the largest mass shooting. You know, they're obviously going big or go home here. They're saying, okay, look at all this stuff, and look how he did all this and all that. He had over 20 guns and this and all that. And so they're going for the whole. It's piece, but it's a. Oh, looks like we have a caller here. Let's see what's going on. Yes, caller. How's it going? You're on the Geezy Truth News show. Hey, fantastic. What's new? What's your name?
Oh, Ethan.
Oh, Ethan, right on. All right, so how can I help you? What's your questions, or what do you think?
Oh, well, you know, what's the topic tonight?
Well, so I mean, I just started the show, and we're just going down the topics here. The very first one is the Las Vegas shooting.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. So what are your thoughts?
Well, it was definitely set up more than just this guy. Like, there had to have been someone else behind it.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of information that points out that there were multiple shooters.
Yeah, because like there's the video of the guy in the crowd who's like shooting.
Huh? Yeah, I'm not even aware of that fact.
Yeah, he looked like a security guard or like, you know, a staff event guy, but it looks like he has a gun and like people are falling down as he's like. It's kind of a quick little video. It's hard to tell, but it looks like he's shooting.
Wow. Yeah, and I believe that's a gun-free zone too. So I don't know. You say it's a security guard, but I believe that area is a gun-free zone.
Yeah.
So wow. So I didn't even hear about that. So there's a shooter on the ground floor that they don't even talk about, and he was firing his firearm.
Yep. Yeah, it looked like he had like some sort of assault rifle or something.
Huh. Wow. Well, yeah. I mean, it's
the camera. As soon as the cameraman like notices, he just he like throws the camera down almost because he's like running, you know.
Yeah.
Pretty nuts.
Yeah, and and you have to understand like what the agenda is. You know, first of all, this guy allegedly had no agenda. You know, the guy that they're allegedly about, they're framing this Stephen Paddock guy. which, I mean, it's like he had... There was no agenda, apparently. It's been a week and a half since the shooting, and we still can't figure out what his motives were.
Yeah. And, like, in the main video, you can hear two guns going off, right? So there had to have been, you know, another shooter.
Yeah, multiple. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like... And then they said that the room service was in and out of his hotel room like constantly, and they didn't see anything. So it's like he could have either paid him off, or they could have been part of it. You know, who knows?
Yeah, exactly. One theory is that the alphabet agencies or somebody, you know, obviously this is high level stuff, you know, it's like obviously the normal people aren't going to find out about this, or most people won't even know, but you have to be aware and, you know, understand that it's happening. But one theory is that they sent him over there to do, because, you know, he's a wealthy guy, which indicates that, you know, he's greedy. You know, you don't want to beat around the bush on that fact. It's like, if you got money, you're greedy. It's not necessarily, some people would say, a bad thing. Some people would say it's not a bad thing. You know, there's a capitalistic country. You could do whatever you want to a certain degree. But so this is the theory is that, you know, they took him up there and told him, hey, we're going to do this gun smuggling operation or gun deal, which is very commonplace in the alphabet agencies. I mean, we have proof going back to the 80s and before of doing that. And so they, you know, they just told him, hey, do this deal, go over there. By the time he got up to the 32nd floor, they did the whole shenanigan, because it was only 10 minutes. It was between, you know, according to the report, it started at 10:05 and ended at 10:15, I believe. So it was 10 exact minutes. So it took him 10 minutes to do all this. So by the time the guy went up to, you know, the 32nd floor, they probably just killed him and, you know, finished off the Mockingbird operation, whatever you want to call it, false flag, and then that's how they framed him. Or if he was in cahoots with them, you know, who knows?
Yeah, that's definitely a pretty, you know, plausible, like, way they could have done that. Like, they could have just set him up, and that's why they don't have a reason for why he did it, because he didn't do it.
Yeah. And it's I'd like to recommend, I've been meaning to show this up on the, you know, you're on the phone right now, but if you take a look at the show, I have this book right here. Let's see if I recommend everybody to read this book. It's War is a Racket by General Smedley D. Butler. And it's a short book that, you know, this, I'm pretty sure, 4-star general wrote this book in 1935 to write about what he did in, you know, of all the times of, in his career. And so, you know, this is from 1935, and this is what they were doing then. So you have to understand, with all the other stuff, here we go, here's a better thing. So I got it showed up right here, you know, get this, or, you know, read it online, whatever you got to do. Got to recommend that. I had to mention that. But, yeah, you know, it's been done before with the Iran-Contra deal. That was in the 80s. This was in 1935. And he talked about all the, you know, what he did in South America and the Caribbean and yada yada and all that stuff. And this was before World War II. So then that happened, and then all this happened. And now we're over here in 2017. This Las Vegas shooting happens, and they're trying to get rid of the guns. I mean, it's the gun control is obvious. But, you know, things are good, you know, things are doing great, guys. Like, the optimism, the good guys are winning, things are looking great. You know, we're doing our best here. Everybody's doing their piece, and you just gotta, you know, knowing the truth knows helps.
Well, it's funny because it's like when they say, "Oh, we need more stricter gun laws," it's like, when do the criminals follow the law? Like, they're not gonna.
Yeah, no, none of it makes sense. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, none of it makes sense, and you know, they just do their PR and they just try to. They're really good at what they do. I mean, they've been studying. I mean, Operation Mockingbird and Operation MK Ultra and all that stuff that most people would know about and educated about that's happening. And so that's been known around for a long time. And yeah, so they're trying to convince people to throw away their guns because look at the horrors. This is the instance. Why would so the people who ask like why would they do that? A lot of people would ask, okay, why would they do that? Right? Why would the government? And remember, I always say when people say fuck the government, it's not fuck the government. It's fuck the people in the government. It's not the government is good. It's what makes everything happen. But the corruptibility when we're 20 trillion plus in debt and all this is happening, and we're 21 trillion in debt or just about or more now, and our roads are destroyed and nothing works and everything is nothing's working out, and yet we're pumping money to everybody else. So speaking of which, I heard that Donny Boy just left UNICEF, which is it's a good thing. We need to stop paying for everybody. It's time to stop paying the American people. You know, if the American people, there's a famous quote. I forgot who was by it, but some famous guy. You could look it up. You would know what this quote is. It goes along the lines of if the American people knew what the so-called bankster gangsters do with the fractional reserve lending, if they were educated upon that fact, there'd be a revolution the next day. This is a famous quote by somebody, but it's a real thing. It's crazy. So, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I just saw this video that someone high up, and high politician gave a speech about how it's like guns. It's not guns that are the problem; it's human violence. And of course, it's something that we can't really fix. So we have to go down to the next level and take care of that because apparently there's no end to violence. Human corruption, basically, which is sad, but it's the way it's got to be.
It is sad. Which is why people need to be focused on solutions. We could talk about all this stuff all day long. We could talk about all the horrors that everybody's done and what everybody's done and man, this and that. Everybody could talk about all the bull sneezy that's going on and what has happened in the past and blah, blah, blah. But the real thing is solutions. It's people talk about solutions. You need to be talking about solutions, cold fusions, gravity, the gravity, energy, free energy stuff. Like there's a lot of solutions out there, and so just pick ones that you want to research, and we're all trying to figure that out. So the magnetic energy devices, the Tesla coils,
Well, hey, Sean. I actually gotta get back to work. I was just on a delivery, so it's good to actually be on the show for once.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Ethan.
Yeah. All right. You have a good day.
You too.
You later.
Take it easy. Thank you for the call. Bye. Yeah. Well, anyway, so that's pretty much what it is. That's what happened. And now they're doing this. There's this guy was wealthy and doing all this. And so that's why they're gonna go for the gun control. And then that's the first step a dictator does. That's you look at any oppressed nation or any just catastrophes and genocides and all that. That's the very first thing anybody does is take away the guns of the people, because or the weapons of the people, depending on what era you're talking about. And so this is the era we're talking about now, 2017. And so this is unfortunately the case where they're really trying to do a gun grab. But the hilarious thing is that it ain't going to happen because there's too many patriots in this country. There's too many people who give a shit. So it's very interesting how that's all happening. Well, now that I got that out of the way, and anybody is obviously welcome to call and say what you want to say. It's that's the whole point. The the next thing, I guess, we'll go to economics and finance and everything, because that's pretty straightforward. I mean, anybody who's been paying attention for a while had caught this like instantly. Like, yeah, okay, like, you know, they're in all these videos with the crisis actors and this and that, and there's just too much, not enough realism, not enough evidence. People shooting, people sitting down. I mean, I don't know. It's too early to say still, but at the same time, you can make a pretty educated guess. So on the better news, Bitcoin has gone up. It's gone up a little bit. It's almost at 6,000 now. I mean, it gone up like 1,000. It was at, like, you know, I don't know. The last time we had this show was probably at its mid threes or mid fours, and now I could give you a live chart. The most recent is 5,600. You know, 5,612.50, and Ethereum at 336.19, and that's USD. So, percent change of 1.76% for Bitcoin and 11.07% for Ethereum. And that's, you know, there you go. So we'll see. A lot of people say this is a bubble. A lot of people say it's not. I mean, do your own research. You know what it is. If you're familiar with this, it's people. I'm pretty sure this is a reaction of people being tired of the banks. Now, the scary part is that if this is opposition and that this is just owned by the banks anyway, or owned, and who owns the banks, you just go follow the trail. And so in that case, if all that is the case, then we're in trouble. But then there's always your favorite little guy, physical metals. So, you know, you just got to counterbalance and see what's going on. And that's just a hedge, you know. When people ask me what's about the physical metals, is it an investment? I wouldn't call it an investment. I'd call it a hedge. Because it's like, you know, it's physical there, you have it. It's like, you go do all your other stuff, but it's like you have this, and that's your hedge against your market plays in the stock market and the cryptos and so forth. So, but I'm on the side of it's not a bubble though with Bitcoin. I think it's just going to keep going up. You know, obviously it just goes like this. You've seen the graph. It's like, you know, it's goes up a lot, little drop, up a lot, little drop. It's going to just keep going like that if the technology remains the same. Obviously, if you start messing with the technology, obviously it's different. But I think people realize that this is, you know, if they're done with the banks, or if they don't, you know, that's the whole thing. That it's an open interface, and that it's not controlled. But again, I'm not trying to sit here and say that it's your savior, because there's a lot of anomalies to it as well. Like, I'm pretty sure most of the Bitcoin, which, by the way, there's only 21 million Bitcoin of all time. That's the only thing. There's only 21 million, and that's it. But what I was gonna say is that where was I at? It's just gonna keep going up. Oh yeah, and that it's going to the top 3 wallets, like, most of Bitcoin is owned by like a few people. So it kind of goes back to the, you know, it's pretty much what we were saying about the banks with the fractional reserve lending, and the you know, that's pretty much because it's a private entity, right? So it's a private entity, and there's no required congressional hearings or anything like that. There's nothing we could do about it. Every time we've audited them, they said that if you do, we'll crash the market or whatever. So it's pretty interesting. So that's why I think it'll keep going up. And because people are going to keep switching over, like, people are going to keep researching and reading and realizing what it is. and be like, hey, okay, if this is because I'm tired of this bank, and that it's like, and so I'll go over here to this Bitcoin thing. But it's pretty similar because of the fact that it's owned most by like, a few top. But there's only 21 million. So the question is what happens when is it gonna run out, which is in about 2-3 years. I think that's why John McAfee said that, it Bitcoin's gonna go to 500,000 in 3 years, and if it doesn't, I'll eat my own dick on live television or something like that. I think the reason why he said that is because it is going to run out in it's going to run out in a couple of years, or 2.5 years. The 21 million cap. Once everybody buys, all the 21 million, that's it. There's nobody else. So that's going to increase the price, obviously. Now with the stock market, I mean, I don't get how they're able to just keep it, because it's controlled, obviously, and you could argue that Bitcoin is the same thing. But the stock market, last time I looked at it, it was like at 22,800, and it's just completely ridiculous. I mean, it's so overinflated, so hyperinflated, and so unproportionate. It's just over the top. So it's not the way it goes. Wanted to look at let's see what it is right now. Doesn't look like it's showing. But yeah, it's definitely over the top. I mean, they just it's too much computer money in something that it doesn't represent. They're representing 1 billion. They're claiming like 1 billion USD is worth, the company is worth 1 million, but they're saying it's worth 1 billion. And so that's how it's going up, and it's like the tulip craze and the stock market craze, and the same argument can be said about the BTC, but that's not how it happens. So we'll see, because it can be it's controlled. Because otherwise, it would have crashed a long time ago. Any self-respecting economist would have told you that it should have crashed a long time ago, which it did in 10, 11 years ago in the 2008 or whatever. But it should be, and the housing market is going out of proportion. They're all these buildings and all this stuff, and so we have all this. All that is happening, which is weird, because it's just like weird fakery that keeps on building up. And that's, if you want to call anything a bubble, that's a bubble right there. And then you have back to the topic of pedogate and all this satanic pedophilia, ridiculous, sneezy that's going on. So you have all this stuff, you gotta prioritize. You gotta prioritize and see what's more important and what's. And geez, I hope all this would be fake, but the sad reality is it ain't. There's too much evidence and too much ridiculousness. I mean, just look outside. Just look outside. Look at the people on the street. Look how everything is increasing, and everything is inflation. Everything is going up, and who's this and who's that? How are you going to pay for any of that? So it's gonna see what's the news talking about right now. Let's see what's going on. Donny Boy, why Trump's remarks about times changing back are troubling. Yeah, well, we could continue on that, and then let's Las Vegas police shift timeline again in concert massacre. So again, they're gonna just keep on talking about some stupid ass sneezy about the LV bull sneezy. I'm surprised there's no gun control articles up ahead here, but it's all gonna come. They all do it sneakily and through legislatures, and you gotta catch. But hopefully, Donny Boy, everybody's doing our best here, including Donny Boy. So hopefully, he ain't gonna let that happen. We'll see. We're still hoping that he's on our side. That he's still like smart enough. A lot of people point out that he's not part of the elite. That he's not part of the disgusting scumbags that are trying to freaking do all this ridiculous stuff. But you never know. Is he the controlled opposition? Probably. You just can't expect anything. Always be on your guard. But enjoy life. You gotta have a balance. Because this would just go. Some people just get too involved with this and go crazy. But some people, if you're level-headed and you can control and just keep going, then there's a lot of amazing people out there that are doing it. And I would recommend some if anybody would like to ask me. So, yeah, and then just some other news. Indiana church denies first communion to girl who wanted to wear a suit. So, I mean, this is just, you have to understand that it's just information that they're just feeding you, garbage, You gotta get behind the scenes. Get behind the scenes. What's really going on? Where's the gun control? Where's the pedo gate? What's with this convicted stuff? Freaking Wiener got convicted, and then this Weinstein thing that just happened, and all this stuff is good. People are waking up. We need to get all of this up and coming. People need to wake up about this. More than 500,000 kids go missing a year just in the U.S. alone. I feel like most people don't know that fact. Everybody should share that so people can wonder what's going on. How is that possible? Think to yourself, how is that possible? Does that make sense? Or is it just a large coincidence? So, yeah, it looks like this NBC is finished. This disgusting new Weinstein revelation is about to bring down the whole network. So, I mean, looks like if that's helping, then okay. I don't know the connection between that and that, But, they're all connected, Obviously, the elite are the elite. They know what they're doing. It ain't rocket science. But it does take a little bit of, giving a sneezy, so to speak. So, yeah. And here in Seattle, speaking of Pedogate and all these guys, there's so many of these things happening. That Ed Murray guy finally got the boot. I don't know if I talked about it last time, if that happened or what, but after so many people freaking claimed that he plugged them up, that he finally resigned, I guess. And so I don't know who the next guy is. Or girl. But yeah, he was forced to resign following multiple allegations of child abuse and sexual molestation, including from family members and children under his care. Things are getting freaky. He's a Democrat. As a Democrat, I mean, it's like, not that the colors matter. They're all freaking, if these guys like freaking doing this, then that's what, it's like, this is what it is. I don't know why, but this whole world is run by these satanic pedophiles. I don't know what it is, what this whole thing is. But they obviously figured something out, or they convinced themselves that this is what they gotta do. So here's the new guy. Some guy named Jamie Peterson. Well, what do you have it? We'll have to look into that guy later. It's just it's a lot of information, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of information. So What else has been going on? No, you just got to take it day by day. So anyway, that's the Geezy News report. And I think we'll be out since looks like surprisingly we're not having any callers right now. So we'll see what's up and we'll figure it out. But all right. Everybody stay vigilant, have a good time, and keep in touch. And Geezy Truth News is out.